drills and stuff in the prep?
Well, a lot of things we worked on in spring training, that was with, the pitchers hitting. And so there are a lot of bump plays and there's a lot of attention to detail on, some of those fundamental parts of the game. Last year, when we started spring training, 2.0 and all those things, we knew we were going to have a universal DH. So we shifted a little bit of focus on the style of game we were going to play. And also we had 3 weeks to get these guys up and going. And so, we shifted the attention more towards, getting the pitchers built up and getting them enough innings before we get up and going. And so now, with understanding what the rules are right now, we've got to get a little bit more detailed on how we defend the bunt and just some details like that with a little bit different style of play.
Couple of questions on health with some guys. Emilio Pagan, the issue that he had last year with the bicep and everything, is that completely in the past? Nothing to worry about this year?
Yeah, we feel pretty good about it, and we felt great about it when he kind of came back from his DL stint last year. The way he threw the ball down the stretch, he was throwing the ball extremely well and had really good results. And so what we've seen so far is him coming back into camp, kind of picking up where he left off at the end of last year, which is a great sign.
How about Austin Adams? Last year he was able to get into a few games for you coming off that knee. He looked good, maybe not back to vintage Austin Adams, but how's he doing?
Yeah, he's doing well. The knee looks healthier, and to your point, he rushed to get back with us, and so was he. At 100%, probably not, but he did. Throw some meaningful innings and got us some huge meaningful outs. And so now with that knee, hopefully fully recovered, his body's moving better, his body's recovering. His velocity and stuff in the bullpen has ticked up from last year. His fastball commands a tick better, and he certainly has a great slider, and so we're excited about him being 100% healthy and being able to bounce back. It's been a good sign.
Craig Stammen, not a typical Craig Stammen year last year. He had a few rough outings, but towards the stretch, he really became one of the more consistent guys for you. Were some of his struggles, do you think, just the disrupted season last year, or are there some things that he's working on this year to
Yeah, I think it was a little bit, and you kind of dig in a little bit, and in a shortened season, he had some weak contact at times that got through. He was in some situations where he's a big ground ball guy. And we were in some situations where we'd bring the infield in and some ground balls stuck through. So we feel good about where Craig's at. He's building up. He's been around. He's one of the leaders in that clubhouse, and we feel good about where he's at and what he's going to do.
Thank you, Jayce.
All right, we'll go to Kevin Acee, UT.
Hey, Jayce, what have you seen in Miguel Diaz, and what do you think he might possibly be able to bring? It's been a couple of years since we've actually seen him in a game.
It has been a while. I think like the biggest encouraging step is him getting on the mound and getting back into compete mode. I mean, he has had a long layoff, especially with that knee and building up, and so honestly, him getting out on the mound, throwing live BP, those are huge successes. The trainers and everybody's doing everything in their power just to make sure we keep moving forward. He probably at times when we're doing defense doesn't need a knee brace. Right now they're putting that on when we're doing the pitcher's fielding practice, and he's covering first and moving around. So the main thing is we just want to keep him moving forward and getting going, because you're right, it's been a really hard road and journey for him, and now hopefully get him into game action and let him go.
There were times when he came up that he was unhittable for times, but it's been so long. I mean, likely some time in the minors. I mean, and especially with everything you guys have, is it going to be kind of a longer period before we actually see him in games?
I think he's got a chance to pitch in games down here. You don't want to put like caps on anyone, but if you just kind of look at, just the history is, I'm guessing he's going to need some game competitions to kind of get up to to where he was before the injuries, and that's perfectly fine, and that's acceptable. So the main thing is we want to keep him healthy, and we probably understand that he's going to need some game reps, he's going to need the adrenaline, he's going to have to make pitches and do all those things. So we're going to want to see that for a little bit, before we feel 100% comfortable right now.
Did you guys get the monitors, and could you kind of go over what all is involved in that process?
Yeah, I think it's just more accurate on the contact tracing, and it'll kind of buzz or light up when we get inside 6 feet from one another, and then it kind of monitors how much time that was and exactly who that was. So I think it's hopefully it's going to be a little bit more cleaner process and a little bit more accurate than somebody pops up with COVID and, well, I was talking to this guy and that guy, and everybody's running around circles connecting dots. So hopefully it's a little bit more accurate, but until we kind of see it over time, it's tough to tell.
All right, we'll go to Adam Klug.
Morning, Jayce. You have a lot of new faces in your bullpen. What are some things you'll be looking for from your relievers as you try and determine roles for the bullpen this season?
Yeah, right now, we're looking for who's going to fill up the strike zone, who's going to be on the attack. We've got a lot of different guys. We've got a lot, and they have different weapons or feature different pitches, and can provide some really hard matchups for hitters. So right now, we're looking for guys that can get on the attack and fill up the zone, with all their pitches, that don't shy away from contact. That's what we want to see right now, and it's really hard to predict. We've got a lot of guys battling it out for very few spots, so it's going to be an open competition, and it's really hard to to say until we start getting into games and they start facing other teams.
All right, AJ Castavel, MLB.com.
Jayce, is Ryan Weathers going 2 today, getting up and down in life?
Yeah, I think that's the plan, like right now. So we want to make sure he's going to be starting in some of the first couple games as we get going. So we just want to make sure that he's in a good spot to be able to do that.
The brief time we saw him last year was just as a reliever, but what can he bring as a starter, considering the pitch mix he has, the combination of command and a couple different off-speed weapons?
Yeah, that's who he is, and that's who he's always been. Obviously last year's situation in the playoffs, a little bit different, but he's always started. He's got a really good fastball. He can move the fastball. He can pitch to 4 different quadrants. He can go down. He can go in, go away. He can go to the top of the zone, and he's got real secondary pitches. He's got real feel. He's got really good command. The one thing we feel confident is, he's going to throw strikes. He's not going to shy away from contact, and he's got an ability to repeat his delivery, and he can get all his pitches in the strike zone. So he's still working on the changeup and those things, and so it's going to be great to watch him kind of compete against some other teams here shortly.
All right, we'll go back to Scan.
Jayce, the return of video to the dugouts, how much of an issue was that for you guys last year? Maybe not at all for some of your guys, or are certain guys really looking forward to having that back this year? Yeah,
I'm sure it's a little bit split. A lot of the guys, like the video and like to go back and, review, whether it's the mechanics of, their swing or how they're getting pitched, or for our pitchers to be able to, just have some checkpoints from last inning and kind of see where their delivery and their release point and all those things are at. So I think that part's nice. One thing that was nice about, not having, the video last year as well was, everybody was in the dugout and everybody was pulling for one another. So I think our challenge is going to be a little bit of finding, that middle balance where individually you can kind of check a couple checkpoints, yet still, be at the dugout and, pulling for your team and all those things. So we just need to find that right combination.
As far as the hitters, maybe this is kind of a generalization, but it seems like maybe more of the veteran guys would have missed it more than some of the younger guys that maybe never had access to it. Without naming any names or anything, were there certain guys that did you notice that like, dang, I really missed that as from a hitter standpoint in terms of evaluating the opposing pitcher?
You know, honestly, you know, during the game and things like that, we never heard any complaining or things like that. You know, after the game, hey, it'd be nice if I could have checked A or B at this part. You know, we'd have some conversations like that. But honestly, once we got into the game, I never heard any complaints or anything like that.
Cool, thanks.
All right, we've got time for a couple more. We'll go to Saya Yato.
Morning, Jayce. Morning. Darvish threw bullpen on Tuesday and he's throwing live BP today. I know you said it is all design, but seems like he's at a good pace. What is his throwing schedule going to be like after today? And also, what day are you planning to have him throwing Cactus League game, if you can share?
Yeah, so he's going to throw, you know, live BP or simulated game today. And then he'll get, you know, a day or two, you know, down from that. I think, you know, right now he's not going to throw in the first rotation, you know, which is probably the first 5 or 6 games. And then after that, we're going to look to get him into, you know, game action after that. So he's in a really good spot. He's been improving with every bullpen. And I think he feels really good where he's at. And equally important, I think Larry and Fritz in the pitching department feel very good where he's at as well.